morning everybody, I hope you are all well. So today I want to do a test and review on this JBL Aquatest Lab Coil. This is a test kit that has been sent to me by JBL, as I believe there are no reviews so far on YouTube. I am not sponsored by the JBL, however they have sent me free of charge this new test kit. So I want to test it, review it, and then share this with you. So the first thing that you can see is that there's a massive difference in size within the case. Okay, so this is the one that I currently use, which is the Colombo. A lot of you know this one, but in terms of size, this is the difference between the two cases. So this is a color chart, okay, and I will explain how this works. And then you've got this chart here. So this is for you to be able to keep the records with the dates and the and your results here. Instructions. And here you've got two syringes, a thermometer. You've got a pen here. So this is all your bottles for your test. This is your Leo scoop for the measurements, which I find much better than the Colombo. And this is for your bottles to put against your color chart, and I will explain how this works. Here on the top you've got all your test kit basically. Those come as a liquid, and those like that come as a powder. And here you've got some different tests that you can add to your case basically. I always find it hard to measure a liquid against a paper. So on the paper here it looks fine, but once you've got liquid into that, I find it extremely hard. So this is the card reading for the nitrite, for example, from JBL. So you've got the instructions here, and then you turn the page and you've got your color chart. So you will say to me, well, there's not much difference, you're going to have the same problem here. But the JBL works in a completely different way, and this is why I wanted to try this test kit. I always use the same bottle for the same test, so pH will be always that bottle, etc, etc. So I always mark the bottle, and this is what I did, the same way I did it on the Colombo test. Unfortunately, unlike NTL Labs, which are doing very well for that, there are no stickers. I do like the stickers that you can put on the top and on the side. So I had a very old tube here that I've kept from NT Labs, so you can see you could put a sticker here and a sticker here, and I've used them for about a year and I have never had any problem with the stickers. So this is one thing that the JBL hasn't got and the Colombo hasn't got, stickers. So let's mark them manually. So here what you had as well is to go and collect the water from your pond. So you've got two bottles. Oops, sorry. So you can see you've got two bottles there. So the first test I'm going to be doing is the pH. And on the Colombo you only have one, but here what you've got is you've got 3 pH. This pH here is when you really don't know what kind of range you're looking at into your pond. So here you will measure your pH from 3 to 10. This is to establish what kind of pH range you are at, and then you can choose for better reading. If you are like me between the 7.4 to 9, you can go on to that one straight away. It gives you those readings as an increments of 2, so basically say 7.4, 7.6, 7.8. okay, so my pH is 8 with the Colombo test. So this is where the test from JBL is slightly different. You need to use a blank bottle, okay, that you will put on your B. So my B is going to be always here. Here I'm going to be taking 5mm as well. I put in this one. Then I'm going to be taking 5mm again, and I'm going to use my pH bottle, which is going to be bottle A. Okay. Bottle B is my pond water. Bottle A is my pond water with the reagent. I put it on the color chart, and I need to match. The two bottles need to match color. So you can see that here I am not at 7.4 because the two colors now are not matching. This is a bit better, but still not quite right. Now I'm getting close. Okay, so that is giving me a reading of, you can see the triangle here, of 7.8. And if I slide it again, I'm on a reading of 8. The colors are now matching. So my pond is at 8. So Colombo and JBL give me exactly the same reading. So my next reading is the KH. So you know how it works. One drop and it becomes blue, and then you've got to add and count, and you swirl until it becomes orange. There you go. 10. So next one is the GH. Same thing as KH. Okay, you put one drop and then drop by drop, and you start counting. Yeah, 14. So this is where things are slightly different than any other test I have ever seen. Colombo, NT Labs and any other test kit will measure the ammonia, okay, which is NH3. The JBL test measures the NH4, which is an ionized form of ammonia. The way you read NH4 is that you need to measure your pH first, and then your reading of NH4. And here, depending where you fall, it will tell you if you are on the right track or if you are in serious danger of losing your fish, basically. Not too keen on the idea of measuring the pH and then that, because if you want to do a quick test of ammonia, in this case, you can't. So for that, I think I will order an extra kit of, you know, a separate kit of NH3 from Colombo, and I can read it directly. And every now and again, I will check as well the NH4, but I don't see the point of doing all that. For me, NH3 is a much easier way of doing it. But let's do it. Region 2, 4 drops as well. I do like the bottle here, much better than the NT Lab, much better than the Colombo, which sometimes can do a little bubble. But that is the best bottle I've ever seen. 4 drops as well. Okay, and then 15 minutes. Same thing here. My bottle B is my C3 one, my pond water, and my bottle A is now with the reagents, 15 minutes later. So if I put it on the chart here, so if I slide it across, you can see that this is definitely not the reading. But if I put it here, less than 0.05. On my pH, I'm at 8. And on the ammonium, on H4, I'm on less than 0.05. So it's in this column, therefore, perfect reading. So ammonia on Colombo test, 0. So now the test of nitrite. 2 bottles, 5 drops. Oops, that one. 5 of each. Little swirl. Alexa, timer 5 minutes. Let's do the same thing on the Colombo. And Colombo is 5 drops. See, there you go, Colombo, you get an airdrop, don't know if you can see it. 1, 2, 3. So nitrite results on the Colombo test. I'm at 0. This is my color, this is their color. It means that I'm off the chart in the right way, therefore good stuff for me. Nitrite 0. Nitrate, my dreaded one. What they give you is some spoons like that. They give you 3. So this one I marked it as NO3, which is my nitrate. And you start on this one with powder. So let's put powder. And then they specifically say not to mix it. And then you put 6 drops of this one. And then you can mix it because it's powder. Dissolves very well, even in cold water. So here we go with my test for the nitrate. No, I'm too high there. There you go. So color match here. So depending what you've got, the results will read differently. Oops, sorry for the shaking. Change hand. So on the top you've got the tropical fish for the first line, then you've got the koi on the second line, and then you've got the seawater on the third line. Okay. So if you look at here on the color match on here, I'm on 30 milligram per liter. Better than what it was, but for the koi, which is the second line, I'm still on red. So I'm somewhere between 20 and 50 with the Colombo. I'm going to show you what I get in my tap water, which is pretty shocking. Tap water, 20 milligram per liter. So I've got no chance of reducing my nitrate in my pond by doing some water changes. This is a reading that I always struggle with, but I'm going to address that. Is only one reason for that, and that reason is because my nitrogen cycle is not up to standard, really. Phosphate. So this one is a tricky one for me. Something that I measure. However, I know I'm always high. I am normally on 2 milligrams per liter. So even if I do water changes and all that, there's nothing I can do about the phosphate. I still measure it. If it's lower, then I'm bonus. But it's something that I cannot control because of what's happening in my tap water. The powder region first. Okay. And then they tell you to mix it again. So 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm between 2 and 3. So very high, but I knew that. So I'm going to say 2.5 on the phosphate. The incrementation goes from 2 milligram per liter to 5 milligram per liter. So I think I'm slightly higher than 2. And the JBL says I'm on 2.5. So let's go with JBL, better incrementation for the phosphate. So my last test is very, very important one for me. And it's the O2. Oxygen. Vital for your fish. So for this, the test says you need to fill the bottle to the top. And then 6 drops of number 2. 6, and then you have to agitate it then for 30 seconds. And then region 3, 6 drops again. Alexa, timer 30 seconds. And now let it rest for 10 minutes. So I now have my reading for the oxygen. And good news. So this is what my color looks like. I'm closer to this one. So I'm at the maximum on the color chart. I'm at 10. I leave the air on in my pond. It is so important. I am not going to gain 1 or 2 degrees in my water temperature by stopping the oxygen in the water. It's a personal choice, but I wouldn't recommend to turn the oxygen off in your pond for the sake of saving a few pennies. So there you go. All the tests have been done. So let's talk about the review. What do I truly think about this JBL test kit? I do like the glass bottles. The Colombo bottles are in plastic, whether the JBL, as I've shown you, are in glass, which is much better when you do any testing of water. It doesn't stain, you can clean them properly, they dry better. Yes, of course you can break them, that's, you know, but it means that because it's glass, you're going to have a screw on the top, a screwing top, rather than a push fit, so the water doesn't get out at all. Really, really good. I really like them. Much better. Lack of stickers to put on the bottles. The little spoons, much better. They give you 3, as I said. You can write on them like I have, and you don't have any risk of contamination of cross-contamination of powder. Really, really good. Much better than having just one, at the risk of losing it and having to buy an individual kit to be able to get a spoon. Much easier to measure as well. Next one was the Regent bottle. Yes, they've got much better nose. I found the dripping, that was absolutely fantastic. Much better than everything I've tried so far. Extra Regent, yes, they seem to have put extra bottles. So for example, the KH obviously you only have one test, okay, one bottle test to test, but here they put 2 bottles, so you have a second bottle ready. Same with the pH, you've got an extra testing bottles of pH. Oxygen test, absolutely brilliant, and this is the reason why I wanted to try this, because of the oxygen. So I thought if the testings are good compared to my trusted Colombo, I've always used Colombo for the past year and I absolutely love it, but I've had the same results today with the JBL, and they do have the oxygen, so it's all contained in one. The one thing that really put me off at the beginning was the NH4 instead of the NH3 ammonia. They do not have NH3, so they don't have ammonia, but they do have NH4, which is ammonium. And then all you do is actually you read your NH4, you cross-tabulate it against your pH, and you've got your result. So it's actually very easy. As I explained at the beginning of the video, reading a liquid against a color chart on a card, I found that extremely hard. However, this is a paper color chart as well, but as you see me when I was testing it, you've got your pond water, see-through pond water, and then you've got your Regent reaction, and then you put it against that, but it seems like you are reading 2 liquid against each other, okay? Much better. On all the tests, you've got a better incrementation you've got more details into your reading. For both tests, the Colombo and the JBL, you can buy individual kits. So if you run out of a certain test, you can buy it as an individual pack. Not like NT Labs, which comes into one case. if you're lacking of that, you've got to buy a full second case. Here, the oxygen test or the pH and KH, I just had a look on the Pond Planet website. KH and pH together is £6.99. Pretty good. The chart. I like the fact that JBL thought about giving you a chart where you can write all your details on it. It was my first test today, but before I tested it, I scanned it. Now I've got it on my computer and I can reprint it and carry on using it. Colombo did not provide anything. Really good. Liked it. Little things, little details, but sometimes it can make a difference into which product you're going to be using. There's one point I haven't spoken about. It's the price. So you can go on the Pond Planet website and you will see there the prices. You've got 2 cases for your koi testing. Okay, you've got one that is a bit smaller, which is called the JBL Pond. You've got, I don't think there's oxygen in it. And there's another one that is not in, I can't remember which one. And the normal combi set for Pond is £32.30. This one is at $78.94 at the moment. Super happy with this testing. I definitely recommend it. Price wise, that big case, yes, it's a little bit expensive when you first start. You know, forking out £82, it's not always easy. So there you go. JBL testing kit for koi pond. It's a yes for me.